Welcome. Today we're going to discuss delayed sword and some of the more important principles, rules, theories, concepts, and strategies within the technique that you should know about. So let's start out with consideration number one, which is our environment. Our environment right now, we have an open environment which allows us to create distance and step back. The reason that's important is because this is a beginner technique and distance is your friend. So now part of the environment is our opponent. Depending on what he's doing dictates what we're going to be doing. In this case, we're dealing with an applied minor, which means he's already grabbed us and made contact. But this could just as easily be done of an in-flight minor or an in-flight major. So we have a general rule that says in order to beat it, meet it. So if I was dealing with an in-flight attack, I want to go towards the attack to meet it so that I can beat it. If you notice, I'm creating an angle of deflection, but the closest my hand gets to me, the less of an angle I create. That's why we have the rule that in order to beat it, meet it. In this case, we're not going to have to worry about that because they've already grabbed us and they've already beaten us to the punch. No pun intended, because it's not a punch, it's a grab. So, the next thing we're going to talk about is rule number one. Rule number one is to establish our base. So I want to make sure I get into a strong stance. The reason we do that is threefold. I want to have a stable base, I want to be able to move quickly, and I want to be able to have all four of my weapons available so that I can use them. Now keep in mind, anytime that something changes or I have to adapt, I might want to sacrifice one for the other. I might want to give myself more stability, but eliminate some of my availability. I may want to give myself less stability, but be more mobile or be able to move quickly. So keep in mind, depending on the situation, you have to dictate what you want to do. In delayed sword, we're trying to maximize all three of them. So now let's talk about what we're doing to the arm. We have a general rule. Anytime we're on the inside of the arm, we want to be below the elbow. Anytime we're on the outside of the arm, we want to be at or above the elbow. If I'm not, I'm going to end up eating the elbow or getting hit with the hand. So keeping that in mind, and the fact that we're dealing with an applied minor as opposed to an in-flight major or minor, we don't want to go towards the left front flank, because again, that's going to put us above the elbow, and I now have to create and then pull the hand back before I'm able to strike, which leads us to the principle of economy of motion. Remember, we want to be as efficient and effective as possible without any wasted motion. So we have a general rule that says remove all the and thens. So I don't want to cock my hand up and then deliver the strike and then pull this back. If you notice, there's too many and thens. And remember, this is beginner technique, so the idea is to go from point of origin straight to the back where I can get my hand ready to go for the follow-up maneuver. So now let's talk about the strategy of delayed sword. He grabs me, and again, this is a beginner technique. So I want to establish my base, but I want to do that the opposite way that I've been showing you. Now I'm keeping my majors in the front. So the reason we're doing that is because, again, I want to be as fast and effective as possible, and I want to be able to use my majors, not my minors, because this is a beginner technique. Now that we're on the inside, we want to cancel the height. The reason we're doing that is, again, to control their weapons. They have availability. So we want to immediately start canceling their availability by, again, going from point of origin, just like we did the strike for the arm. We're now doing the same thing for the foot. I don't want to waste and cock the foot before kicking. I want to go straight from point of origin to kick. So if you notice, the strike was creating a plus. This gives me more margin for error so that I'm not missing if I'm blocking with a horizontal. We're going to do the same thing we did defensively, offensively, by taking advantage of the open-ended triangles. We have one here and we have one here. We're going to use it with the foot and the hand. They're slightly different and they're shown different. This takes advantage of it by coming straight up, but I could just as easily have missed and contour my way up. The hand actually contours the arm and takes advantage of the contour. But keep in mind, if I struck him really hard and his arm's not there, now I'm just taking advantage of the open-ended triangle and no longer contouring. So now let's talk about the power principles inside delayed sword. We're going to deal with torque at the beginning, using our rotation to enhance the strike of the arm, and then using gravitational marriage to deliver that strike with the hand sword on the way down. So again, strategy is to use our majors and to control the height. We want to keep him down. So let's do the technique one time without the explanation so you can see what it would look like. Up. We hope this video helps you. Thank you very much.